This is the video project by Maria, Jochebed, and Thais, and our topic is evolution, and we will be using the Marvel Universe as our analogy. And we will be talking about the 5 factors. Now, there are 5 characteristics of evolution. There is non-random mating, genetic drift, genetic flow, natural selection, and mutations. Now, to begin with non-random mating, it occurs when the probability that 2 individuals in a population will mate is not the same for all possible pairs of individuals due to their capabilities of surviving. Now, here's Black Widow. She's strong, smart, athletic, sexy, everything you would want in a woman. Now, here she is in the middle of sexy individuals, and she could only choose one as a mate. Naturally, she would choose the man that has most capabilities of surviving the environment, and in this case, she chooses Hawkeye amongst all the hot males. Now, because she's specific in her standards of a mate, only the traits of her and that individual would be passed down to their descendants, only producing babies that will have a higher chance of surviving the environment, while the rest of the poor males that were not chosen by any females will die without reproducing. Now, there are 2 types of genetic drift. There is the founder effect and the bottleneck effect. The founder effect is the reduced genetic diversity that is caused when a population is descended from a small number of colonizing ancestors. Now, here is the X-Men family. They were taken to District X to start their own community away from the humans with the activated X gene. So their descendants will have their genes with the activated X gene, and so will their descendants, and so on and so forth. Now, the original X-Men have just created their own population that includes the activated X gene, which is the gene that makes them, thus creating a population that's specific for them. Now, the bottleneck effect is a sharp lowering of a population's gene pool because of an environmental or artificial change. Bringing back the X-Men analogy, they were persecuted and experimented on, causing a drastic decline in the mutant population. In this human-caused case, the X-Men community's population was reduced. Genetic flow is the movement of genes from one population to another, and a huge contributing role to that is migration. Now, let's say that Captain America and his posse decides to move to another country. And because they left, their genes obviously was carried with them. Now, when they reproduce in a separate area, their genes will be distributed in a new population with different genes, causing genetic variation. Natural selection is probably the most known factor of evolution. It is a process where organisms better adapted to their environment tend to survive and produce more offspring. And in other words, survival of the fittest. Now, there are some Marvel characters that are only human, but they're still capable of surviving difficult environments. Here's Iron Man, Thor, Star-Lord, and Quicksilver. Now, because they have capabilities that are superior to humans, if the environment were to change in some way, the humans will die off and the Marvel characters will survive. The Marvel characters that survive will pass on their genes, which will increase the survival rate of future populations. Now, however, natural selection can also occur within the Marvel characters. For example, Quicksilver died due to natural selection, and this will only prove that his genes were not beneficial enough for organisms to survive in their environment. Now, there are genes within surviving genes that are more capable of adapting to the environment. So the better genes will be selected, whether it's through non-random mating or if they just survive long enough to secure a surviving population. Everyone knows what mutation is. It's the changing of the structure of a gene, resulting in a variant form that can be transmitted to future generations. There are many mutants in Marvel, and the ones we decided to use is Vision, Deadpool, Hulk, and Spider-Man. Vision and Deadpool are artificial mutants. Deadpool voluntarily had himself experimented, and Vision is an android. Now, both of them can be considered as a domesticated being because they were artificially altered for their own benefit. But in contrast to domestication, they're not exactly domesticated beings. Now, their future generations will have the artificial genes with the traits of Vision or Deadpool, assuming both of them do reproduce. Now, the Hulk and the Spider-Man, on the other hand, was not artificial. Because Hulk was stuck in a radioactive room with gamma rays, and Spider-Man was bit by a radioactive spider, neither of them really had the choice whether they wanted to be mutated or not. Now, due to this mutation, their future generations will have spider-like abilities or Hulk-like abilities, depending on who the father is. And this is us, and that's it.